Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. We have another off-season review, this time looking at the North divisions. Like we've been doing, we're going to start off with the AFC and go in reverse win projection total order.
Win projection total.
Sure.
Win total projection.
Yeah. You know what? The three words were right. They were just in slightly the wrong order.
How many wins the Vegas peoples think the football teams may accumulate over time during this next 6 to 8 months?
Exactly. Thank you for the clarification, Joe.
That's how the Canadians would say it.
Anywho, I'm your host, Alex, here with the on-air talent, Joe. How's it going, Joe?
Take me home to the North. We are boys from the North.
Hell yeah. So we will start with the AFC and the lowest rated win total, which means we are going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have a win projection total of 4.5.
You were addicted to win projection total.
You know what? It's just baked in now.
It'll be our signature proprietary term. Okay. The Cleveland Browns suck. That can't be denied. But I think this might be low. So, first of all, it completely depends on who the quarterback is. It won't be Deshaun Watson. He is on the PUP list. He's physically unable to perform. That erection has lasted longer than 36 hours, and he can't find a massage anywhere. That means it's going to come down to probably Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, with an outside chance at Dylan Gabriel, and absolutely no chance in hell of Shedeur Sanders, but we will talk about every single move he makes anyway, because why not? Do you have any local insights as to which of these sorry suckers it will be?
No, I have no idea. I mean, I assume it's going to be one of the guys that started football games in the NFL before.
Likely.
They loved Joe Flacco when he was there almost 2 years ago, but he's old.
He's so fucking old.
And then Kenny Pickett's just not good. So I don't know what they're going to do. I've heard that Dylan Gabriel has looked decent, but I've also heard that from other people that Shedeur has looked good. So who knows? We'll see what actually starts happening when we see him play a little bit. And even then, I wouldn't be shocked if they play like 3 or maybe all 4 of these guys throughout the year.
So that actually, you brought me directly to 2 separate topics that I think are really important to hit on. One, training camp started across the NFL yesterday, right? So be vigilant. It's really easy to get excited. I want to get excited so goddamn bad. I want to find every clip of every quarterback that I'm high on throwing a 5-yard curl. And I want to say, look, it's proof they're going to be so fucking good this year. Again, I might have made it 5 minutes this time. I might have made it 5 minutes. I'll check. No, definitely not when I edit out all the awkward pauses. Damn it. Anyway,
we'll get it one time.
I almost made it to the 5-minute mark before deplatforming us. But regardless, I want to get excited too. Training camp is like a first grade spelling test. If you don't do really well on a first grade spelling test and you are an adult, I'm really worried about you. If you get 100% and you write everything with a beautiful flourish, I don't care at all. But if you miss even 2 words, I'm like kind of worried. Training camp, preseason, very similar. If you look awesome, I don't care at all. Nobody's really trying. It's not really a competitive scenario. There are advantages baked in practice, etc. If you're struggling and it's like a consistent thing, like so-and-so's not having a very good camp, I'm very concerned. Coincidentally, the people who are also gauging whether or not like people are having a good practice or a good camp, these are beat reporters. Beat reporters are valuable because they're around and they tell you what is going on. They're not valuable for their insight. If they were, they would stop being a beat reporter, which is really hard to do, and they'd be a pundit, like a Colin Cowherd, which is really easy. You don't even have to watch the games. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith hasn't watched a basketball game in 15 years, but he used to say some big funny words about how bad Tim Tebow was, and now he's a millionaire. That's what every journalist wants. So don't trust reporters to do evaluations, just like you shouldn't trust evaluators, me, to do reporting. And also, even if you could trust them, even if you saw with your own eyes, it doesn't matter if someone looks good, they should look good. Bringing me to my next point. The Browns open up the season hosting Cincinnati. That's a 50-50 game only because Cincinnati's defense is so atrocious. But then they go to Baltimore, host Green Bay, to Detroit, host Minnesota. Their first 5 games, it's almost impossible for them to have multiple wins. They're 1-5 or 1-4 rather at the best before they go to Pittsburgh, which is going to be a tough game as well. Whoever starts week 1 will not be starting week 7 against Miami.
Yeah.
And whoever starts week 7 at Miami, there's a decent chance they get benched before week 10 when the Browns play the Jets coming out of the bye. I would be surprised if Dillon Gabriel is not starting week 10 against the Jets. You get a bye week, you go play one of the worst teams in the NFL immediately after that bye week, and then you go Jets, Baltimore, Raiders, 49ers. Remember, the 49ers defense is going to be terrible this year. Tennessee. You got a nice little corridor of manageable game. That's where I think they put Gabriel in and see what he can do. And if he sucks ass, maybe you give Shedeur, week 17 versus Pittsburgh or week 18 versus Cincinnati. But you probably don't. Shedeur probably never starts a game, ever, for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think also injuries will come into that.
Yeah.
Like, if Joe Flacco starts, he also might get hurt week 2.
He probably should.
And then you're Kenny Pickett. And then, yeah, I think if Kenny Pickett plays 6 games against a bunch of largely good teams, they're going to put in a rookie.
Yeah, especially with the bye week. Like you go New England, bye week, Jets. That is your corridor right there. Maybe you even start Gabriel against New England, let him get his feet wet, adjust over the bye week, really get him ready. Then he plays the Jets. I think that's probably what I would do. But let's assume, I think Kenny Pickett starts week 1. I think Kenny Pickett is a solid backup. He's fine. I don't think he's a starter. He's certainly not a franchise quarterback. I never would have drafted him in the first round. I think I gave him like a 3rd round grade. He's fine. We've seen this team with this coach run a pretty good offense with a fine quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. I think Kenny Pickett can do the Jacoby Brissett thing. I mean, he's got a very different skill set, right? Like Brissett is kind of dumb and pretty inaccurate, but he's got a good arm and he does what he's told and he manages a pocket fairly well. Whereas like Kenny Pickett, he's not dumb. He's kind of smart, actually. He just has a dog shit arm, tiny hands, not athletic, manages a pocket okay on his best days. They're still going to have a really good offensive line. Their weapons are quietly kind of fucking good. I do wonder, oh God, you know what? Thank God the Browns drafted Dylan Sampson in the 4th round because I really like Dylan Sampson and I really think he can be a starting running back in this league. And I was kind of bummed that he was going to get stuck behind Quinshawn Judkins, but no, he's not.
Nope. Granted, this is the NFL. Quinshawn Judkins will get suspended for like 2 games.
You can't get arrested for beating a woman up before you even sign your contract. If he had signed already, that's one thing. He hasn't signed.
Yep.
I'm holding out until you pay me like the heavyweight champ that I am. No, but like it's been established Jerry Jeudy's really good. And it's been established that David Njoku is at least very useful. And I think that Harold Fannin Jr. is the perfect gadget tight end for that, Kevin Stefanski special. It's that bootleg play action to the right, quarterback boots out to the left, and they just throw the ball in the flat to the tight end like 2 yards downfield. And every single time he's got like 5 to 10 yards of space. And Fannin has got a lot of that Jonnu Smith bullshit to him. He's just so good after the catch, even though he's kind of small and not that athletic. I really think that this Browns roster aligns extremely well with Kevin Stefanski's scheme. Kevin Stefanski's scheme is really, really good. And that's even assuming Deontay Johnson continues to be a psycho head case who sucks. But he's very talented. So he could if you told me Deontay Johnson had a career revival and suddenly was really, really good again, I'd believe it in a heartbeat.
I don't know, man. After the last year and a half where everyone, he's been on so many teams and everyone's been like, no, this is okay. We'd rather have less talented people that aren't insane.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be insane to go from the Pro Bowl to 3 teams in 1 year. But maybe he just needed to hit rock bottom. We've all been there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a lot of personal stuff going on last year too.
Yeah, I mean, well, clearly. If he didn't, by the time he was on his 3rd team, he had to.
Yeah, I think that was one of the stories when he held himself out of a game or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know enough about it to actually say anything. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really bank on him too much. I think Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, and then the tight ends are a decent passing attack. I mean, Jerry Jeudy legitimately is a number one receiver.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see him kind of like break out like that last year. I think Tillman is fine. And then you're going to get a good scheme. The tight ends are good. The offensive line should be like really good. And we know they'll get hurt, but talent-wise, they're good. And I like the running back room too. It's deep. They've got a couple different roles they can roll out. It's just the quarterback, like it always is in Cleveland.
But Cleveland's really good at minimizing the quarterback. Like they were with a look when Joe Flacco had his like big resurgent season, like, oh, so good. He was bad. He was productive. They won games because the defense is sick. The running game is super efficient. And Kevin Stefanski, he's got a little bit of that Cliff Kingsbury, like literally almost the exact opposite style of offense, but a little bit of the same concept, which is if you give them the best quarterback, they're going to get pretty good stats in that offense. But if you give them a terrible quarterback, they're still going to get pretty good stats. Like they lower your ceiling, they raise your floor. So I don't know. Like if you give me Kenny Pickett, who look, I was a Kenny Pickett hater when he came out of Pitt. Like I laughed at him getting drafted in the first round, but I don't think he's like unsalvageable, unusable. If you can win games with Jalen Hurts, you can win games with Kenny Pickett. It's the same fucking caliber to me. And if you disagree, I don't respect you, frankly. I'm so sick of people telling me that that Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback. If he's in your top 15, like I look at you wondering how you feed yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think even there's some pushback on that from like some mainstream of where people are putting him in like top 5 and top 3 conversations.
Commonly.
But
fucking Alex, PFF ranked him 5. That's bullshit.
And like, I think rightfully people have been getting on them about that. But I think the issue is that even among people that are like, oh, that's too high, they're still like, oh, but he's 9.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's
still
that's
top 10.
That's what puts me through a fucking wall. But hey, let's not even use Jalen Hurts because that's for some fucking ridiculous reasons. That's controversial. Jared Goff fucking sucks. Jared Goff sucks. And in the right offense, he can produce like a quote unquote MVP candidate. So I think Kenny Pickett, who also sucks, can be okay enough to operate a very quarterback friendly offense.
Yeah, I mean, I still worry about it because he just doesn't have the arm to do anything. I think it starts to be the problem that Miami and New England, when they had Mac Jones, run into, which is like even when you scheme well, eventually that runs out because teams figure out they don't have to cover past like 30 yards.
Yeah, and you know, it also limits what you could do in the middle of the field and to the second level. Like, yeah, arm strength is really important, and Kenny just doesn't really have it. He does have pretty good zip and velocity, so like he does a little bit of that Daniel Jones, Chad Pennington bullshit where his throws of 15 yards actually look like he has better arm talent than his throws of 20 and 30, like just because he's really good at getting everything his body has on the ball when he throws those middle level routes. But regardless, the offense won't be good. I agree that you may see some of that Mac Jones Tua bullshit where it's just like, yeah, the quarterback doesn't have the arm talent. You know who else doesn't have the arm talent? Joe Burrow, but we won't go there yet. We will go there in 10 minutes.
I mean, it's better than Kenny Pickett, though.
I don't know. In fact, I'd argue no.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll deal with that in a few minutes.
I don't know that I would argue no. It's fucking the same. Anyway, we're not asking for him to win 10 games like we asked Tua and Mac Jones to do and even Joe Burrow to do. We're asking him to win 5 with a really good defense, a really good coach, albeit a tough fucking schedule, but we'll do that in a second. On defense, Myles Garrett, 3-play Myles. He's only elite for 3 plays a game. He's just really, really, really fucking good for the other 50. For those of you who are new here, Browns fans love to complain that Myles Garrett only shows up for 3 plays a game because Browns fans are spoiled to the point where showing up constitutes like wrecking 2 offensive linemen and blowing a play up in the backfield.
Yeah, it's like game changer play.
Yeah, like he only changes the game 3 times a game, right, which is something that most defensive ends who are Pro Bowlers and like Hall of Famers do maybe 20 times a year. He's doing it fucking 40. Anyway, Myles Garrett is insane. he is enough alone to make your defensive line formidable. But now you put Mason Graham next to him, who I think is pretty decent. I think he's overdrafted. I think he's overvalued. But I think he's a good defensive tackle.
Sure.
Malik Collins, can he regain any of his game from when he was in Philly? If so, pretty good pairing with Mason Graham. Who the hell is going to be the second edge rusher? Because it is a competition between Joe Tryon, the epitome of nothing, Julian Aquara, who's kind of really disappointed me since coming into the NFL, and Isaiah McGuire, who apparently is not an Irishman.
What about Alex Wright?
What about him?
I mean, he played a lot last year, and he wasn't great, but he had some flashes that feels like would be a better option than Julian Aquara.
You fucking tell me.
I'll be honest,
I don't know Alex Wright from Isaiah McGuire.
Alex Wright, they were somewhat excited about as like he could be a complimentary.
See, the guy went to Charlotte.
I think so.
Or maybe it was UAB. UAB.
Nice. Good pull.
Yeah. He's like a tweener. Yeah. And he's skinny. No, he's 6'5", but he was skinny and he racked up big stats in Conference USA or whatever the fuck UAB plays. The Dragons. Yeah, so Alex Wright basically profiles like Joe Tryon, both of whom are bad. But it doesn't matter. Your defensive line will be solid because Myles Garrett is there. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah. I think they have good like defensive tackle depth this year too, which is
Shelby Harris, Malik Collins, and Mason Graham has the potential to be really good. And
I know Mike Hall got put on PUP or whatever, but personal stuff aside, I liked him out of OSU.
Jesus, this man has been suspended so many times in 2 years, and he is on the PUP. Yeah, so he got signed, was immediately put on the commissioner's exempt list, then suspended 5 games for personal conduct violations. Suspension was eventually lifted, and then immediately put on IR, and then designated for return, and then he played for like 2 games, and now he's on the PUP.
Yeah. Granted, I think all of that suspension was from the same thing.
It is, but still, to go immediately from suspension to IR to PUP is fucking funny.
Yeah, but he's talented, but regardless, I think they'll have a good defensive line because, as you've said, Myles Garrett is a one-man pass rush for a team.
Yeah.
And then I think the D tackles will be able to, control the run, which is normally where they start getting in trouble is they just get abused in the run or up the middle because they kept losing D tackles for years.
If you told me that their defensive tackles were anything between dead average and really fucking good, I would totally believe you. Because I don't know who Malik Collins is anymore, and Mason Graham has potential, but he doesn't really know how to play defensive tackle very well yet.
Yeah, and even if Malik Collins is useless, Shelby Harris is a professional.
Certainly. And Mike Hall could be really good, and Mason Graham could be. There's tons of potential for this defensive line to be fucking sick. But we know that the baseline is good. Behind them, they're trying to build their linebacking core out of dudes who could play safety, and I couldn't support it any more than I already do. I love Carson Schwessinger, awesome, rangy coverage linebacker, RIP to JOK, but the two of them, theoretically, maybe next year, maybe the year after, the two of them in the middle of the field playing coverage is a nightmare. It's like having 2 Fred Warners.
Yeah.
Again, Let's pray that JOK can actually play football again.
Yeah. I'm happy that he's just he's okay and living normal life.
I was going to say, I will be glad if he can walk and be normal. If he can play football, that's gravy.
Yeah. Because I think he's out and about doing stuff. I think he was doing awareness or something for the NFL's Africa football program or whatever, because he was going around because he's from his heritage, Ghana.
It's the one that's green and white.
Oh, that's a few of them.
The flag is green, white, green. I think that's
or Nigeria. Nigeria is a very because it's one of the biggest, most populated countries, and they send a lot of people. A lot of guys in the NFL have Nigerian descent. Or that are the super African guys. Regardless.
Even without JOK's allegedly Gahanian ass, Jordan Hicks is a really mobile, rangy linebacker as well. He's Jordan Hicks is the perfect journeyman. We need a coverage linebacker. There's none left. Fuck, okay, at least get one who's kind of fast. Jordan Hicks, you're on speed dial. And then the secondary should be unbelievable. Greg Newsome is talented. He just doesn't care or want to be there. Martin Emerson is really talented. He's just inconsistent because he's kind of slow. Not Grant Delpit. Denzel Ward. Denzel Ward is amazing, but his bell will not stop ringing.
Yeah, I mean that's another one where I'm glad he is pursuing his dreams, but at the same time, like, dude, you should stop playing football.
Yeah, no, I
You've
love
had
Denzel
too
Ward, and
many concussions.
I fully supported him being a top 5 pick despite his size, and I think that his actual play has lived up to it. But, homie, your brain looks like scrambled eggs.
It's crazy.
At safety, I don't like Grant Delpit. I hate Grant Delpit. He's gotten a lot better since the Baker Mayfield era, but he is still bad. And then
he's definitely rounded out, but he still gives up way too many big plays because he just gets lost.
Yeah, I mean, well, he should be a linebacker, but he's too skinny. He's Taylor Mays. Grant Delpit is Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays, 6'4", freak athlete, strong safety out of USC, 5-star recruit. Should have been a first-round pick, slipped into the second for whatever reason. Couldn't figure out a way to play safety or cornerback or linebacker, despite being freakishly tall, freakishly fast, and strong as hell. Just some guys can't figure it out. And if you can't figure out safety, you can't figure it out, and that's okay. Maybe eat a bunch of Ben & Jerry's and convert to defensive end, but it can't get simpler than safety. So Ronnie Hickman, who's the safety that came right before him, who was number 33, I believe he went to Bama, from the Baker era.
Who? Mac Wilson?
Now was a linebacker. It doesn't matter. Ronnie Hickman is just the latest in a long line of Brown safeties who are there, but not good. I would really like to see what DeMonte Casey and Nick Needham can do at safety, because they're both kind of like nickel tweeners. I think that the best safeties in Cleveland are not currently starting, but regardless, like this defense is really good one way or another. You got rangy linebackers, which allows you to play a lot of man coverage. You've got crazy depth on the corners, which allows you to play a lot of man coverage, and you've got Myles Garrett. You combine all that with a strong run game and a creative passing game that takes the impetus off the quarterback. I think this Browns team can be competitive. I think they can be competent. Do I think they're a winning team? Fuck no. They're not. Playoffs? I'm talking about playoffs? Browns need to win a damn game. But
yeah, I mean, the thing I worry about with the Browns is they're going to start bad. Like we talked about, they're probably going to start 0-5 or 1-4. And like the schedule gets a little bit easier, but still then it's like toss-up games. And so I don't know. I always worry about it's halfway through the year, they hit the bye and they've got 1 or 2 wins. Are they just going to give up on the year? I mean, we've seen this with some of these bad teams that we've tried to like take their overs, like we did with Tennessee last year. And obviously there were a lot of other factors there.
Tennessee last year is a perfect example because they were so much better than their record, but they quit.
Yeah. And with the Browns, who, are still in this constant cycle of screwing up. And when you have, Myles Garrett, who I know he just, maneuvered his way into the big contract and everything, but he's shown that he's not going to want to be around while they win 3 games a year. And so, like, does that start falling apart? And then even though they have the talent and they've got a weaker schedule on the back half, is the season kind of already lost and then they win 4 games because they just don't care and are trying to get Arch Manning or whatever.
Well, I was going to say that's the real issue is they traded out of the Travis Hunter spot, so they have plenty of draft capital. Apparently, they told Myles Garrett they have a plan, and he likes the plan, and I'm guessing it's not Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
I see really winnable games against the Jets, the Titans, maybe the Raiders, and then either Pittsburgh or Cincinnati at the very end of the season, just because I expect one of those games there will be some benched starters. That means they just need to get lucky on one of several other competitive games like New England or maybe Chicago late in the season, although I doubt it.
Yeah,
that said, it's too close. I don't want to bet it, especially, and this is what I fear the most. Say Flacco gets hurt, Kenny Pickett loses a bunch of games, Gabriel looks uninspiring. The firestorm of media support for throwing Shadur's terrible ass in is going to be undeniable. And if they play Shadur Sanders, they lose.
Yeah, because I mean, that's another thing is the season's going bad, and then there's the media circus on top of it of when Shadur are going to play. Plus, I'm still curious to see how they, like, are they really going to carry 4 quarterbacks on the roster?
I heard that they might trade Kenny Pickett to the Titans now that Levis is out for the year with surgery, but
I saw that floated too, but I don't know if that's something that is like actually being discussed or if it's just because the Browns have 4 quarterbacks
Doesn't
And
make any sense to me. Honestly,
right.
I would be kind of surprised if Shedeur makes the team. But we've talked way too much about a terrible team in a podcast where there are many very, very interesting teams to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a guy on the Steelers named Montana Lemonius Craig.
That's incredible.
Yeah, let's talk about
I hope
that.
he's good. Mercifully ending the Browns.
Ease of.
We move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers have a win total projection of 8.5 wins.
This number hasn't really moved a lot since Aaron Rodgers officially decided he's not running for vice president and will instead be playing football. I don't know how to feel. Trading for DK Metcalf just to also get rid of George Pickens feels like running in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers isn't the guy that his name would suggest he is, and he hasn't been for a while. And Arthur Smith is the worst offensive coordinator to bring the old Aaron Rodgers out of him. Like, it's exotic smash mouth. They're gonna run the ball in funky ways. They're gonna throw screens to the tight end. Like, the offense is gonna look shockingly similar to what Steelers fans remember Kenny Pickett doing, because that's just what Arthur Smith does. Now, it'll be executed a little better, but it's the same general shit. It is impossible for me to get comfortable while I record because I have 2 baseball-sized bruises on my ass from blocking shots in roller hockey last week.
That's how you got him?
I can't stand on my left leg right now, dude. It is terrible. I got one on my inner thigh. Ow. I just punched it like an idiot. And I got one directly on my ass cheek, which if I had not turned, I would be impotent. I got nailed with this puck. Speaking of getting nailed in the ass, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a volume passer anymore. I think that he's a game manager at best. And I also think that pairs kind of poorly with an offense, which at least in the last year and a half, Arthur Smith's passing offense has been run the ball, play action, deep shot. And if you're going to have a low volume passing attack that's predicated upon explosives, you probably don't want a 40-something-year-old quarterback who can't handle a messy pocket at all. Like, Aaron Rodgers' pocket navigation has gone to shit. And a wide receiving core built upon one dude who can only run streaks. It's just a weird fit.
It is. I mean, it does feel like they kind of just changed out names to do the same thing. Like, they're going to run basically the same offense that they did last year.
I think they'll run the same offense that they started the year with last year. I think by like week 8, that offense had turned into, oh, fuck, the only thing Russ can do is throw jump balls 50 yards downfield. Okay, I guess we'll do that.
I still think it's going to be like, run the ball, or like screen pass and then chuck it downfield on third.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of what we saw with Mariota in Atlanta, where it's like, you just wish they'd run a fucking semi-traditional passing offense that made sense, but they won't, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, that wide receiver room is not inspiring.
Yeah,
I mean, like, they have some role players in there, but
look, there's
Robert
nothing
Woods.
wrong with Robert Woods. Once upon a time, Robert Woods was the epitome of the average wide receiver 2. But when the average wide receiver 2 turns 35,
yeah.
Calvin Austin. I once had a lot of hope for Calvin Austin, tiny wide receiver out of Memphis, blazing fast. He hasn't figured out a way to matter in the NFL, and it's getting to be midnight. Like, if you can't figure it out in year 3 here, it's over. I'm sorry. Or I guess this is year 4. Fuck. Roman Wilson. I really like Roman Wilson. He's coming off an injury. He's never done it. Ben Skowronek. You got converted to fullback. Now you're back at wide receiver. I'm not inspired. So, and then you couple that with an underwhelming running back room, like the corpse of Cordarrelle Patterson. Go away. Jaylen Warren. He's good, but in like rotational usage.
Yeah, he's limited.
Caleb Johnson is the epitome of average out of Iowa. Like, so he's Najee Harris. He's the same fucking guy, but with no vision. I don't. The Steelers offense will be remarkably mediocre. It's going to be somewhere between like a 14 and 21st ranked offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what they've been doing for the last few years. Like, they score enough points if their defense keeps them in it, which it's worked. Like, they've overperformed their talent for a while, like since Ben started declining.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of goes back to like, all right, well, defense retooled, paid TJ Watt. Are they going to be able to drive the defense or drive the team and kind of give them that Tomlin voodoo that even though they don't have a very good offense. They've got a bunch of old dudes and people that haven't really worked out, but 8.5 still feels kind of decent. But let's talk about the defense.
Yeah, I mean, like the defense is on one hand very overrated in parts, but on the other hand, exciting. Like Derek Harmon and Cam Hayward will be a really good defensive tackle pairing. Really good. And then TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith is obviously one of the very best edge duos that exist. And Nick Herbig is a great rotational edge rusher. And Jack Sawyer is a name that people know, but he's not good at football. Inside linebackers, Patrick Queen runs around and has a name that people recognize. He's good. I think Peyton Wilson is going to take a step into the top 5 inside linebackers in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
I adore this man. Peyton Wilson was, I think, the 3rd ranked player on my big board in the 2024 draft. He's an A player. He's going to be an all-pro. Like the comp for him is Fred Warner. Insane speed, remarkable coverage skills, sure tackler despite being like slimmed down so he can run. Peyton Wilson's awesome.
Yeah, I was very upset when they made that pick.
Yeah, no, like that's my fucking guy. Like I like Carson Schwarzenegger a lot. Peyton Wilson is like the upgraded version. And somehow they got him like round later. The NFL draft's a fickle bitch. Moving to the secondary, this is where I'm of two minds. Like Jalen Ramsey is ridiculously overrated. But you know who else was? Minkah Fitzpatrick. And Jalen Ramsey's a better version of basically the same kind of thing. And I think they'll be forced to play Jalen Ramsey in the way that he is best suited. So Jalen Ramsey got a reputation as a lockdown corner because he talked a lot of shit in the early heydays of Twitter, but he's never actually been a very good outside cornerback. Jalen Ramsey is an elite, probably Hall of Fame level free safety who has played out of position his entire career. He's big, great hitter, great tackler in space, really quick, but he's not fast. And his ball skills in contested situations are not great. He's an instincts guy, not a coverage and like agility guy. He's a great acceleration and burst guy. So he needs to play zone coverage. He needs to use his tackling. He needs to get in creative spots where he can blitz. Just take advantage of the fact that he's like 6'1", 220 and runs like he's 195 pounds. Joey Porter has to play outside. He is a big physical corner who doesn't move that well. Darius Slay has to play outside. He's a big physical corner who, due to his age, no longer moves that well. That kind of leaves Jalen Ramsey to play the nickel or the free safety, depending on exactly how they want to deploy Juan Thornhill or Deshaun Elliott, both of whom can play nickel.
Juan Thornhill is bad.
Yes. Juan Thornhill frustrates the hell out of me because he was good in college and he was good in Kansas City. And then as soon as he got to Cleveland, how badly do I want to go back and edit this in post? Because what I'm about to say is funny. Fuck it. Let's do it. When he got to Cleveland, he started chugging.
Yeah, it was like he got paid and he was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to run around collecting checks until my career is over.
I don't think I can talk about Juan Thornhill the same after I just said what I said without acknowledging what I said. So we're just going to leave it at the Steelers have a good but enigmatic secondary, great linebackers, and a really great defensive line. Fuck, that is a good defense. And you combine that with just average offense. Yeah, I can see 8.5 wins all too easy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're going to do the same thing they've been doing.
In a slightly different way.
Yeah. Like they just, retool a little bit based on contracts and guys going in or out, and then do the same thing and fight for a wild card spot.
Disgusting. Pittsburgh is not that much to talk about, and it stinks because it's like a really big rabid fan base, and I wish I had a hot take to kind of throw back at them to piss them off or to make them happy, boost our views, but unfortunately the truth is much less interesting. They're breaking. Team who's been mediocre for my entire adult life remains that way. At 9 o'clock, politician lied.
It's just kind of throwback, boring football.
How fitting. All right. Who do we got next?
Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals with a win total projection of 9.5 wins.
Unfortunately, it's kind of counterintuitive. Like, we have to go deep on the Browns to figure out what the hell they are. We all know what the hell the Bengals are. There's not as much to talk about, so we can go quicker. Like Joe Burrow. We know Joe Burrow is going to start all the games he's healthy for, which is very different from the Browns and even a little different from Pittsburgh because Aaron Rodgers could decide he needs to go run for Congress, legalize DMT. But Joe Burrow will start every game he's healthy for the Bengals. And even though he's been kind of injury prone through this part of his career, I expect that'll be 17 games. I think Joe Burrow is very overrated compared to what most people think. Like, Joe Burrow is the only quarterback. In 2023, he got outproduced by his backup, a journeyman practice squatter. And then in 2024, he followed it up by missing the playoffs. And somehow his legacy has grown.
Well, I mean, I think fans have shown that they don't care about how many games you win as long as your stats are good, unless they have a different narrative to throw.
I was going to say, what happens in 2023 when your stats are okay and your practice squad backup comes into the exact same offense and puts up better ones?
It was all because they played easy defenses and they adjusted the offense for Jake
I was going to
Brown.
say, the actual party line narrative from Bengals fans is they changed the whole offense. It's like, yes, Zach Taylor, whose entire livelihood depends on the offense being good, never once thought to run the good plays with Joe Burrow. He only uses them with practice squad quarterback Jake Browning and his girlfriend's remarkably tight white jumpsuit. I remember that better than I remember Jake Browning. The rest of the Bengals offense is probably underrated. Like, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you could argue they're the second best wide receiving tandem in the NFL, but if you said third, I'd call you crazy. Like, you could argue that a healthy Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is better. But that's kind of it. And then Andre Yoshivas is really good. He's a 6'4" track star who went to Princeton and is figuring out how to play wide receiver. In his rookie year, he made like legitimately impressive plays. I only expect him to go up, 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 and up. Jermaine Burton will never play football. He loves punching women. Mike Gesicki, jump ball extraordinaire. He's a big slot receiver.
Yeah, he's perfect for that offense because that's all they love doing that with their tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, like, Joe Burrow has 4 guys who are over 6'3". Well, actually, Jamar Chase is sneaky only 6'1", but he counts as 6'4" in my mind because of how he plays.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So he's got 4 gigantic receivers, one of whom is not actually gigantic, but is Jamar fucking Chase. And people love to say, like, oh, Joe Burrow's offensive line stinks. It hangs him out to dry. That's not remotely true if you watch the games. Like, Joe Burrow avoids sacks at a average or below average rate, whether you watch the games or go off analytics. He's just not good at managing a pocket. You could argue he plays hero ball because he has to, because the defense is terrible. And that's fine, but it doesn't change the fact that, Burrow is taking sacks. He's making his own pressures, much like Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson did years ago. And everybody's like, oh, imagine if they got offensive lines, and then they did, and then nothing changed. Ted Karras is an average C+ center. I love Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia. I really love Amarius Mims, the left tackle. I like Orlando Brown. He's proven he can be a championship caliber tackle in Kansas City. The worst starter on their offensive line will be their right guard, which is either Lucas Patrick or Cody Ford, both of whom have started in this league. That's not bad. In fact, that's fucking good. So, fucking elite receivers. I really like Chase Brown at running back. Good offensive line. If their quarterback was anywhere close to as elite Hall of Fame caliber as people make him out to be, this is the team who wins the Super Bowl, or at least scores the most points in the NFL. They're only lined at 9.5 wins. Why? Partially because Joe Burrow's overrated, which means that everybody else on the offense is underrated. That's frustrating. What's more frustrating is this defense is not there.
No, it's bad. And it might be even worse because Trey Hendrickson isn't playing, and neither is their first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, because both of them have the contract issues.
So, like, Shamar Stewart is bad at football.
Sure.
Like, he's a freak athlete. He's an incredible athlete. But, like, remember years ago when Trayvon Walker was the first overall pick, and they're like, oh, he's bad at football, though. He only had 7 sacks. Yeah, Shamar Stewart had, like, 1. And like, if you watch the tape, it's because he can't move other than like, he can move straight forward. He doesn't have any moves. He doesn't move laterally. He doesn't really understand how to beat a block. He just kind of goes through you, or he doesn't win. That's bad. Trey Hendrickson's fucking incredible, but he's in Florida, and that's not where the Bengals play. I like Miles Murphy a little bit out of Clemson. He's a power rusher. We'll see if he can put it together in year 3. To this point, he has been nothing. Joseph Asai is like the perfect tweener where occasionally you see the burst and you're like, oh, that could work. And then it never does. BJ Hill is fat and old. TJ Slayton is the most replaceable thing possible. And Chris Jenkins never really seems to be the guy he's supposed to be. All the way back to college. Like, he's fine. Despite the pedigree, the athleticism, he should be really good. He's just fine. So the defensive line, if they get Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson in and starting, is good. Not great, but good. And if they're missing Hendrickson, it's bad.
Yes, very bad. They have like zero pass rush.
Yeah. And then, linebackers, Demetrius Knight and Logan Wilson are both athletic. I don't know if they know what the fuck they're doing. That's kind of a problem. And then the secondary, do you know who Jordan Battle is?
I mean, I've heard the name, but
I haven't.
I couldn't put a face to it. I only remember it because the last name Battle is cool.
Cam Taylor-Britt is the epitome of average and often worse. Dax Hill is a bust, and he always was gonna be. DJ Turner, I don't think he's good. And then Geno Stone, the corpse thereof. 4 years ago, Geno Stone was average. He's not average anymore. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bad defense. They're kind of weak at every position group.
Well, there's a way that they could make their defensive line pretty good, right? Like Trey Hendrickson, he cures a lot of ills.
Yeah.
Their linebackers are athletic and young. Like, they could figure it out. It's possible. Their secondary is a fucking dumpster fire. And their defensive coordinator, they replaced Lou Anarumo, one of the best, most innovative defensive coordinators in football, with Al fucking Golden. Why? Look, Al Golden could shock me and could all of a sudden, when he moves to the pro game from college, display some looks I'm not familiar with and really put together a good defense. Not with that secondary. So plus, their schedule is kind of tough. Their easy games are Cleveland, the Jets, and maybe Pittsburgh. Their tough games are the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Lions, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bears, the Ravens, the Bills. That's a lot of tough fucking games.
Yeah.
So they're between a rock and a hard place. I don't know. And I think the quarterback's overrated. I think the defense is trash, and I think the schedule's tough. I don't have the balls to go under because I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to win 7 games. God just loves him too much. And I also see no drop off if he gets hurt, because we've seen what happens when Jake Browning comes in and there's no drop off, but I lean under.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go under either because I could see them having basically the exact same season they did last year.
Yep.
They're going to score 1 million points, but they're going to give up 1 million points. They're going to be in a lot of games late just because they can keep scoring and they can score quickly.
And Jamar Chase takes curls and screens to the house at will.
Exactly. But their defense is so bad that the offense almost has to be perfect. And that's hard to do, especially when you have a tough schedule. So, I mean, I would lean under, but I mean, I think they would be like 9.
Yeah, I think they're a 9 or 10 win team.
Which means good number. Don't touch it.
Yeah, it's a good number.
All right. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's go to Baltimore because they're fun.
Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens with a win total projection of 11.5.
So I go through every spring, I guess maybe late or early summer, and I tally up, I lay out the schedule and I tally up exactly how many wins I think each team will get. I think Baltimore will win 11.5 games.
It's fitting. I mean, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. They're really good.
Yeah, I mean, like this is another team where I think like the quarterback's a little overrated, but much less so. I think that Lamar Jackson, I thought he sucked for years, but in 2023, he was decent. And in 2024, he was legitimately good. His passing has developed a lot. It's still bad, but it used to be clearing away the worst in the NFL. And now it might not be. And the running is obviously the best, maybe second best. Justin Fields is a remarkable runner, even if he's terrible at every other facet of thinking or playing the game. But yeah, Lamar's a good fucking quarterback. Like, he's a bona fide top 6 quarterback. And I never thought I'd say that. Now, that could all fall apart really quickly. Just as quickly as he learned to become a decent-ish passer, he could fall right back to being terrible, because there's still plenty of terrible on film. But assuming that, age begets wisdom and he's just gotten smarter and figured out his limitations a little better, you've got a really good quarterback with a sick offensive line. Dude, my boy, Daniel Fa'alele is just a freaking gigantic Samoan man, 6'8", 370 pounds or some shit like that, who went to Minnesota and played 4 years as a starting tackle and never got taught how to play tackle. He got kicked inside to guard by the Ravens, and now, this summer, he is working with Duke Manyweather. He is going to rule.
Pro Bowl.
And he's the worst player on their offensive line. Ronnie Stanley, borderline Hall of Famer. Andrew Voorhees should have been a first round pick, went in the 7th because he broke his leg. Hey, NFL teams, broken legs heal. Maybe you should consider that. I think he's given up like 2 sacks. Tyler Linderbaum, top 4 center in the NFL. You could argue top 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's been everything people thought he would be.
Yeah, and then Roger Rosengarten. Turns out that really strong guy who doesn't move so well, yeah, he can pass block. And the strength, it also applies in the power run game. Speaking of which, Derrick Henry doesn't seem to age, doesn't seem to get tired, but even if he fucking did, Justice Hill's fine-ish. And how are you going to deal with Lamar Jackson as a runner? You're not. So it's a super complete offense. And then at wide receiver, people don't acknowledge that Zay Flowers is the new Antonio Brown minus the severe schizophrenia. And Rashad Bateman is a really, really good wide receiver. And Nuke Hopkins is kind of there. I don't think Nuke Hopkins finishes the season on the Ravens.
No, at least not dressing.
Yeah, but like, they got LeJonte Wester out of Colorado, really fast slot receiver. They got Tylan Wallace, who, like, he's good for 2 super long touchdowns on any given year. Anthony Miller, if he could ever get his head screwed on straight, is really, really talented. He won't, so it doesn't matter. Malik Cunningham, the successor to Lamar Jackson at Louisville, who had a game a lot like Lamar Jackson's, but actually had to convert to wide receiver because he couldn't figure it out. I mean, dude, I think that the Ravens' backup offensive line might be better than the Patriots' starting offensive line. Joe Noteboom, Ben Cleveland, Emory Jones. Those are 3 borderline startable players at worst. Like, those are 3 dudes who have started in this league, or at least Emory Jones was supposed to be a first round pick before apparently he likes to eat and do drugs more than he likes to play football. But god damn. Oh yeah, and then we didn't even talk about Mark Andrews. Awesome.
And Isaiah Likely.
Possibly better. Charlie Kolar would like be a sleeper breakout starter on a lot of teams in this league. Great ball skills, tall, blocks well enough, but he can't get on the field because Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. Disgusting. An embarrassment of riches on this team. Deep as fuck. Elite offensive line. Tough to combat that roster. And then on defense, Zach Orr figured it out as a defensive play caller towards the end of the year. It started off pretty rough, but he got going as the season wore on. Justin Madubuike and Enos Peebles is going to be a very fun defensive tackle pairing. And then I don't think Kyle Van Noy's any good. I don't think Broderick Washington's any good. I don't think Jason Odafe Owe is any good. But it doesn't really matter because the Ravens defense it's part of this new trend that I actually think I really agree with. I've completely changed how I see defensive roster construction. Once upon a time, I used to think all 4 of my defensive linemen need to be speed pass rushers. Fuck everything else. And now I've kind of realized I've kind of converted to this Jesse Minter, Mike McDonald theory of like, just put 3 dudes up there that cannot be beaten in the run game. And then you could blitz. And you could do whatever the hell else you want. And you don't have to worry about trying to stop the run or load the box. And so Kyle Van Noy is not good, but he's versatile and weird, and you can line him up in strange places and make him do funky blitzes. Odafe Owe, dude, guys got to stop changing their name after the draft. You have until your last year in college to change your name into whatever the hell you want, but once I start watching film on you, that's it. Stop it. Because now we're 5 years down the road, and I'm calling Odafe Owe Jason Owe because that was his name until 2 years ago. It's not fair, dude. I know you got a name and you're a person with emotions, but I have habits. Okay, we got to balance these things. So not drug habits, just like I start doing a thing and then I keep wanting to do it, such as call you Jason Owe. Mike Green. Did he rape? Kind of seems like it. Is he really fucking good at football? I'm certain of that. If Mike Green can keep his pants on long enough to see the field, he could change this whole Ravens defense because he's a true stud pass rusher that they don't have and haven't had. So you add all that girth and that energy, right? Because like Owe is not a big guy, but he's a hustle guy. You put that together with some just pure badass power from Madubuike and Travis Jones and John Jenkins, and now you got Mike Green, like a true finesse pass rusher, a Brian Burns type. You're cooking with gas. The secondary, dude, they're about to have Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins paired up with Chidobe Awuzie as their 3rd string outside corner. Marlon Humphrey is moving into the slot. That's fucking disgusting, Alex.
It's unfair.
Jair Alexander, when his head is not ringing and he's not seeing out of his ears, that is an all-pro player. I think Nate Wiggins will become, in short order, a top 10 corner. This year, I think he'll be a top 10 corner. Marlon Humphrey was the best corner in football for a little while, and now he's losing a step, so they moved him into fucking slot. And again, Chidobe Awuzie, yeah, he's old. It seems he certainly has lost a step. But as a fourth string fucking corner, oh my God. And then I think Kyle Hamilton's overrated as a safety. But if you can keep him down as a box safety, which is what they're going to do, he's awesome at that. Kyle Hamilton's an elite fucking linebacker who can play decent safety. And that's what they're going to do with him because they can put Marlon Humphrey in the slot and he can tackle and he can run with damn near anybody still from the slot. And then Malachi Starks, he's very quick. He's got amazing acceleration and burst. His coverage skills, not very good. His speed, mediocre. But if you catch a ball 3 yards in front of him, he's going to bisect you at the waist. And then Ardarius Washington, backup. Get real. I mean, this secondary, and they got TJ Tampa, who I actually really like as a fifth string corner. This is disgusting. It's an embarrassment of riches.
So then the question becomes, what stops them from winning the Super Bowl?
Lamar Jackson. He can't pass. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a passer. And in the postseason, you're going to play good offenses. And even when you have a sick defense like these Ravens do, good offenses win. Good offenses score. Like you're not going to stop Josh Allen.
The only counter to that argument is we just watched a worse quarterback on a similarly incredibly talented team win the Super Bowl and win Super Bowl MVP nonetheless.
Do you believe a team can count on 14 points off of takeaways in the first quarter of the Super Bowl? I don't.
No, but
I like that Eagles team. I made a lot of money on them in the playoffs. Their run last year was completely replicable, completely unstable, and will not happen again this year. They will take a step back, as we've already discussed, because you're not going to have 5 fucking takeaways in the NFC Championship game against a team who frankly shouldn't be there. You're not going to have 14 points off of Patrick Mahomes interceptions in the first quarter. You're not going to have, a cakewalk against the Rams in the snow. It's just not going to be that way.
The only thing is that the NFL has moved into a much, arguably worse era where there are a lot of not good teams. Like even the good teams have huge holes. And I feel like just not having holes is almost as important as having legitimately good areas.
The problem I see is just that when push comes to shove, especially in the AFC, you're going to face a very good offense. You're gonna if the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl, they have to beat the Bills probably, and Josh Allen's going to score. So you're going to have to score. And the Bills defense is not that good. You can pass on them. But Lamar can't pass. He will turn the ball over. Last year was the best he's ever played by a mile. And he still had, 3 or maybe 4 turnover-worthy plays against the Bills in the playoffs? Yeah. And he always does. Often in the regular season, he can transcend that. The defense can hold it down a little longer. But in the playoffs, when you're game planning for a quarterback that is one-dimensional and you force him to do the thing that he's A, bad at, and B, needs to do to keep up, I don't see Lamar beating good teams without luck. And sure, yeah, any team can win any game on any Sunday if they get turnover luck. But you can't bet on turnover luck.
Yeah. I think another part is they just have to stay healthy. That's been one of their biggest issues the last couple of years is by the time it's week 3 or week 4, half their team is hurt.
Well, if you wanted to tell me that DeAndre Hopkins and Derrick Henry are hurt by week 5 and, Jair Alexander has another concussion, Marlon Humphrey's falling apart because he's getting older.
Ronnie Stanley has
Stanley's always
6-week injury every year.
Andrew Voorhees re-breaks his leg because apparently it's that bad. He had to fall 6 rounds. Yeah, there's a way that everything could fall apart. Lamar Jackson, somebody could figure out, the way to play Lamar Jackson is just to have a defensive back spy him, and now he can't run, and it all could fall apart. People could just do what Brandon Staley did way back in 2019, and nobody has done since.
I think part of it is you have to have someone that can spy him. Other teams that have done well against him is because they do that mush rush where they just create and form a pocket around him and don't let him out of that pocket because you make him throw.
The problem is that in the past, the old way of thinking is, there's a quarterback who likes to run. I'll put my middle linebacker on him as a spy, and I'll have my defensive ends kind of try to hang out with him in the pocket. With Lamar, it's different. With Lamar, you need a safety or a cornerback who can spy him because he's so much faster. And rather than defensive ends kind of containing, I would rather have linebackers containing. So it's just you have to downsize your team to keep up with it used to be running backs who are playing scrambling quarterback, and now it's a wide receiver. Like Lamar moves like a wide receiver, not a running back.
But then they complement
powerful
with, because their offensive line, like they're still good in the pass rush, but they got a bunch of movers.
Yeah,
like
and
they have
Derrick
road
Henry.
graders, and then they have Derrick Henry.
If you go
so it's
light,
like they get you in that conflict where to be able to contain Lamar, you want to play small and fast, but if you want to, stop the run at all, you have to play big.
But that conflict dies when you know he has to pass. And you know he has to pass when you have a good offense and it's a game that matters, especially in the playoffs. Because remember, in the regular season, teams don't game plan. In the playoffs, teams adjust everything and game plan hard. That's why coaching and quarterback means so much more in the playoffs than they do in the regular season typically. Unless, of course, the playoff run, like in 2024, is completely and totally dominated by random blizzards, 5 fumbles in one game, 2 defensive touchdowns in the Super Bowl in the first half, shit like that, which is completely unpredictable and ridiculous.
I mean, I think there's a little bit of predictability to it if you just outclass the other team at almost every position. Like, you're putting pressure on them, and that's when people make mistakes. But yeah, I mean, some of that stuff is completely luck driven.
Yeah, I mean, like the Ravens are a top 5, maybe top 6 team. Like they're a really fucking good team. If you want to put them top 3, I wouldn't care. If you want to say they're the best team, I'd say fine. I just don't think they're going to go that far because their quarterback can't pass that well. And I think passing is the most important part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's been part of their problem why they keep dominating in the regular season and then have a disappointing loss at some point in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about the NFC?
Frankly, no, I don't. I would rather leave it here. We'll do the NFC tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Come in with a little bit more energy.
It's late. I got a meeting with the Korean client tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. The Korean client is very neurotic. And frankly, we already went way too fucking long because we talked about the Browns 4-string quarterbacks. So let's just leave it. Give the people a solid probably hour of AFC North content, and then we'll do it again with my NFC North, because the NFC North is the best conference in football this year anyway, so we're going to have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balanced and good division. Like, it should be a lot of fun, high-quality football.
Yeah. So we have no bets in the AFC North. The bookmakers really nailed these lines. I could go over on Baltimore just because, like, I don't think there's a single game on Baltimore's schedule they should lose. Maybe Buffalo. Buffalo week 1 is tough. But after that, Cleveland, that's a win. Detroit, 50-50. They should lose to the Chiefs because they always do. Houston, that's probably a win. Rams, probably a win. Chicago off a bye, probably a win. Miami, that's a win. Minnesota's tough. Minnesota might be the best team in the NFL, if you ask me. Might be.
Yeah. It's just more unknown with the quarterback, but that's for tomorrow.
Cleveland, Jets, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Bengals again, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. I see 2 to 4 losses.
Even with Buffalo, the Ravens, I mean, we'll check, but don't they normally start the season hot?
Yeah.
Because Harbaugh is, huge on all the effort and everything. So I feel like they don't have that same, like, week 1 lull where people are still kind of, like, ironing out kinks.
Yeah, no. The Ravens usually do start hot. They don't always win, but like a couple years ago, week 1 against Kansas City, Isaiah Likely toe on the boundary at the last second. Was that last year?
Yeah, that was last year.
Yeah, I mean, like the Ravens played really well. It's just they got fucked.
I've seen them blow out the Browns on week 1 enough over my lifetime to know they normally start well. And that was even Baker Browns.
Yeah. No, Ravens are fucking really good team. I could lean over on them. I lean over on the Ravens. I think they fucking nailed Cincinnati. I lean over on Cleveland. I think they fucking nailed Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Cleveland, you just can't really go over because they might tank. They might have 2 wins and then they're like, yeah, let's just try and get the number 1 pick.
I kind of honestly believe that they will tank. I don't think one of 2 things will certainly happen. Both of them might happen. I don't think Shedeur makes the team. Like, maybe he makes the practice squad, but I don't think he makes the team proper. And I think that the Browns somehow get the first overall pick and take a quarterback, whether that's by actually getting the first pick or by pairing up picks and trading to get it.
Yeah, because, I mean, they also have the new stadium coming in a couple years, and I feel like they're going to want, the marquee number 1 overall quarterback to be part of that. Like, all right, new stadium, we got the big guy to come in, so they're fine with being bad for another couple of years. Regardless, we've talked about the Browns for 45 minutes today.
We literally have, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, so let's get out of here and we'll touch base on the NFC North soon.
Perfect. All right. Enjoy.
Let's get out of here and we'll touch base on the NFC North soon.
Perfect. All right. Enjoy.